Hi everyone, sorry I've not made any videos lately. I've been a little busy really. I was supposed to have gone fishing on my birthday, but it didn't happen unfortunately. Wind came in and rough seas came, so it got cancelled. But not all was wasted. I got in contact with an old friend. Just been supporting them for a bit. It's been quite good. It's very strange really, because obviously it's the winter solstice, 21st. But my best mate down in Torquay, Sarah, unfortunately the other week her dad passed away very suddenly, and there was nothing they could do to save him, unfortunately, and it was his funeral today. Now, the way that she's handled everything, she's like me, she handles it with humour. Serious things, she makes fun of it, and it has been amazing to watch that she's still got that. She can still see the humour in things, even though she's grieving so hard, because that's her mum and her dad that died now. When her mum died, I was still in Torquay, so I could give her the support, but I've been stuck up in St Helens, and to be honest, I completely forgot about it today. And it was funny because I was walking back home from being out tonight, and it must have been about 10:30, something like that. Walking home, and I've got my headphones on, and obviously it's Christmas time. Everybody's got their lights up. You might be able to see mine flashing in and out at the moment. They're sort of like on the fade. I didn't want them all flashing dazzly because of the camera, but they fade in and out. But yeah, me and my mate Sarah, we used to go driving around looking at the Christmas lights down in Torquay every Christmas, and take my daughter around and see all the pretty lights, because there used to be some good displays on houses, and it was just reminding me, because we used to have our music on, and she likes the same sort of music as me, all the dance tunes and things, and it was something her mum liked as well. And I'm just walking home and thinking about, reminiscing about Sarah, and going around looking at all these trees, and the penny still doesn't drop. That it's her dad's funeral today. So I carry on walking, just away with the fairies like I normally am when I'm walking home, just listening to my music, and just in like a trance in a world of my own. I'm always the same. This is why I don't pay attention to anybody when they shout at me, because I just don't notice. So it's not that I'm ignoring anybody, I just don't hear them. I'm just not paying attention. But yeah, I was nearly got home, and there's one tune that comes on, and it's one that I associate with Sarah's mum, and it's BBE, 7 Days in 1 Week, and it's a good dance tune. It's an old trance tune, and she always used to listen to it with us in Sarah's bedroom when I used to go over, and there was always a part in it that made her jump every single time. You knew it was covered, you knew that she'd jump, and it got her every single time. So yeah, on her anniversary of her death and her birthday, I play that tune for her, turn it up really loud, and I did tonight. I turned up my music as high as it could go on my earphones, and and when I did that, I just looked over a car registration. It was VLO. To me, that associated with her name, Valerie. Valery, and so that was when the penny dropped. Oh shit, it's Don's funeral today, and it was very strange because I just had Sarah's mum's laugh in my head, going stupid, and then just all these messages from her mum and dad to Sarah. It was quite strange really, because I've been having these little, I can hear the voices in my head, just telling her what they'd like to tell her. So I've just messaged her now I've got home, and I just had to tell her that I was sorry that I haven't contacted her today. To be honest, I've not really known what to say. I've only spoken to her on Facebook, I've been that overwhelmed with things to say, it's knocked me speechless, you know. So I've been trying to support her as much as I can on Facebook. You know, when she's writing her posts and things, and you know, I'll comment on her posts and things and put my support that way. But you know, I'm her best friend. I should be there with her, talking her through it all, and you know, taking her mind off it all, reminiscing or whatever, and just having a laugh with her. So yeah, it's been a bit difficult to actually get her on Messenger and just get it all out. I mean, there's still shitloads I want to say, but shitloads I don't know what to say. Like, you know, it's a very difficult time, and everybody grieves differently, and it's not just you know, after a death. You know, my friend that I just got back in contact with, they've just gone through you know, a breakup, you know, so they're grieving for that loss. And I think they just want somebody around that actually understands what they're going through, and I'm glad that I can give that support, especially with where I am with my own mental health now. I mean, Sarah, she knows that I'm freaky. We've had freaky moments with spirituality and stuff like that, but you know, my other friend's a bit, you know, a bit standoffish with certain things. So it's just like you have to adjust to each person, you know. You know, especially if you want to be supported, you have to be supportive at their level, you know, at their level of comfort, what they need, you know. But sometimes it's hard to actually know what you can say. But I suppose as an old friend with Sarah and my other friend, you know, they know me and who I normally am, so I just try and talk to them how I normally would. And they seem to be okay with it, I think. But yeah, it just reflecting on how much people around me, you know, that I know that have got bad mental health issues, or going through trauma that they can't control. You know, it's a hard time, especially at this time of year, you know. It's the same with my dad dying last year, you know, around this time. We all get affected different, you know. Some people cope, some people don't. Well, they look like they're not coping, but they're coping the best way that they can with the situation. And some people think that they're not coping at all, but you know, you sit there and you show them just what they're getting through and what they're doing under the circumstances, and how they're feeling is what they should be feeling at that time, you know. They think sometimes they think that, you know, nobody else is feeling this, and they can't imagine anybody else feeling what they do because they feel it on such a deep level, you know. You can't imagine somebody else feeling that on a deep level, on such a deep level, but there are people out there that do. You know, any loss, we all feel on a deep level. Whether that be something in the past, you know, like I lost my family, I lost my childhood, you know, I lost certain things, you know, lots of things, and I didn't realise that was grieving for them. You know, but that was part of my healing journey. You know, you have to grieve, you have to feel these emotions and recognise them, and recognise that yes, you should be feeling this right now because this is what you've been through. Anybody in your situation would be feeling exactly the same thing, you know, but might be reacting in a different way. How we feel and how we react to two different things. You know, somebody that feels loss and grief, you know, like me and Sarah, we laugh, we make jokes. It's just our response to feel better, to get the endorphins running, I suppose, or serotonin or whatever laughter brings out. You know, it's our way of getting that fix of, oh no, we can't deal with this, let's make it funny instead. Yeah, we've laughed at the most inappropriate things at the most inappropriate times, and you know, it makes it worse because we just laugh even more. You know, we just look at each other and we're off again. You know, it's a nightmare. But yeah, and then some other person might take the grief out in anger. You know, they might go into a depressive state. You know, there's all sorts of different ways that people react. You know, I can't really explain them all because I only react in a certain way. So I can only imagine how other people react, and it's only from what I've seen from other people how they react, you know, to certain things. To notice how they deal with hurt and harm and pain, and it's mad how the brain works. It's been talking about mental illness recently with a friend I've just got in contact with again. And it really is just how intricate and amazing the brain is and how it works on so many different levels. And what anxiety and stress and your environment do to the mind. And how it can render you absolutely motionless to do anything. Just 3 thoughts. It is mad to think that your brain can stop you doing from things just from the people around you and the environment that you've grown up in, or, you know, a traumatic experience, how it can just change the way the mind works. And I always thought that there was never a way of getting out of it, but this last year, with what I've done with myself, and then doing the same things with some of my other friends, and watching other people, I don't know whether they've taken my advice or not, you know, that they seem to have come out of certain situations, seen them from what they are, you know, and made adjustments for the better, for their self-care, really, for their well-being, you know, their mental well-being. And it's good to see, and it takes a lot to do that. But once your brain clicks, aha, you know, alright, this is what's going on. This is how we can deal with it. And we're only as good as our abilities, what we've learnt. And sometimes what we've learnt isn't a good way of coping with what we're going through. A lot of us have been taught the wrong way to go through things, you know, to handle things, to cope with things, you know, toxic coping skills, whatever they may be. There's so many different ones, you know, there's such a big spectrum that goes from the seemingly innocent to the most horrifying things, you know. So it's getting a grasp of how to function properly with your brain, and it is a learning process, and not everybody learns the same. Not everybody, you know, what might have worked for me might not work for somebody else. They might have to tweak it a bit, you know. So the lessons that I give out that I've done for myself, you know, removing toxic influences as best as you can, you know, because I know in some instances you can't, but you can manipulate the contact that you do have with them, you know, make it bare minimal and make it just a plutonic thing, you know, just keep it short and sweet so there's no manipulation, you know, have your boundaries there, so if boundaries are being moved, you know, being broken through, you know, sorry, goodbye, you know, stand well back and, you know, hold your boundaries, because your brain needs that peace to know what you truly want, to know how you truly function. You know, instead of everybody else's stuff going on in your head. Meditation is a brilliant thing, you know. I don't know if you can hear my music going on in the background. It's just one of the YouTube things. It's called the butterfly effect. And it's just to elevate mood. It gives you a happy feeling and calm, you know, and that's when your brain can calm down. Stress hormones have stopped being released and your brain's stopped being interrupted. You know, your brain functions stop being interrupted, which is what happens. And it's allowed to think again, it's allowed to process, and you're allowed to come back down to earth, basically, putting things into perspective. And when you're away from all that toxic stuff, you can start thinking rationally again. And then putting in place things that are good for you, things that you like, things that you enjoy, mood elevation, keeping that mood high every single day. I struggled with that to start with. But that's it. It's getting into a routine of forcefully making yourself happy by doing something that makes you happy, something that you get enjoyment out of. Thinking back to a time where you felt the most happiest, euphoric freedom that you've ever felt in your life, taking you back to that moment and trying to recreate it with what was around, if it was music, like with me with my rave days, it was the first time I felt free. I had no restrictions after being brought up in a strict family with abuse. I had freedom, and I was introduced to music, and it was all about just the music and the dance, and there was no animosity towards your fellow dancer, it was just all about the music and having a good time, the euphoric feeling, and everybody got on, there was no fights, everybody loved each other because it was just the energy that we gave out. The old rave days, it was just a community of music-loving people that loved each other's company, and danced away and buzzed off everybody else being so happy. It was amazing, and I took myself back to that place and tried to recreate that in my life, even if it was just putting some music on my favourite tunes that would get me back in that euphoric feeling again. And then I went on to doing the frequencies, the sound frequency music. This is something what this butterfly effect music is. It does do, I can't remember what frequency it is, I think it's like, let me just look at it. Where we are. It's going to tell me. No, it's not going to tell me. No. It's something like 475 hertz or something. They're all different ones for different things. Stimulate different parts of the brain. But yeah, it's all good. It seems to have worked for me. And I know that other people have put in place their own sort of things that make them happy. And moving forward. And it's just getting back into the things that you like doing, for me it's my artwork. I know that's when I know when I am getting better, completely. I will get back into my artwork, because I like doing portraits, and I am very realistic with my work. I have been referred to as, oh look, it looks like a photo. Some of them's been that good, I've even taken myself by surprise at what I can draw like. But I've not done. I used to draw every single day, but I suppose I've done one picture in over a year. So I know once I get back into that, then I know that I'm back on the right path all the way. Totally healed. It'll come one day. But it's just been amazing to see how far people have come just over this last year. Or even sooner than that, really. It really is good to see people moving forward. We can all move forward. We can all help our friends, we can all be supportive, even if it's just a laugh, a smile, a friendly hello. And I know some people can't do that because, like for me for instance, I used to get triggered and I couldn't reach out to anyone. I just couldn't talk. I didn't want to talk to anyone, I just felt too afraid. So I do understand the people that, that can't bring themselves to contact anyone else, but that's fine, that's okay. Don't feel guilty, don't feel that you have to. This is what healing is. It's not guilting yourself into feeling what you feel. If you feel that you can't go out, then you can't go out. Listen to yourself, because it's yourself telling you, right, I can't deal with this now. If I go out, I'm going to be faced with all this, and how bad am I going to get? How much longer is this going to continue? So if I stay at home, okay, well, I'm not having that on top of what I've already got. So, right, okay, so we'll try again tomorrow. Alright, well, I feel a little bit better today because I've not actually taken steps back. So, alright, maybe I could face doing this today, whatever it is. Maybe it's not even going outside, maybe it's just getting up, you know, doing a bit of tidying up or something, you know. Even if it's just one cup, at least it's washed. You know, you do feel better even for that one cup. It's something, but you have to see how far you've come, and just how far you've had to drag yourself out of those dark places, and be proud of it. You know, notice the strength, notice the willpower. You know, notice just everything. It takes a hell of a lot to get yourself up and out of all that mental stress, whatever triggers you. So, you know, I know that a lot of people are out there that are going through a shitload of crap at the moment. You know, it's that time of year. I just want you to know that, you know, there is hope out there. You know, I never thought that there was, but I've got to myself to a stage now where, you know, I found hope, I found a life, I found my sanity. I never thought I'd be able to say that. I found my sanity, even though sometimes I sound completely, absolutely off my trolley. But that's part of spirituality, you know, you do feel like you're going off your nutter. Just from what you pick up on, and, you know, it really is mind-blowing. And I do apologise to people. I know this sounds absolutely crazy, but and once they see it for themselves, it's like, okay. But yeah, anything that makes you feel this good, it can't be wrong, you know. I feel, well, maybe a complete utter yeah, off my complete rocker, but considering how I was before, I'm the complete opposite. You know, I used to be so suicidal. Lost count of the amount of attempts I've made, constantly depressed, everything, you know, proper head up arse syndrome. Couldn't function on a daily basis, couldn't function on an hourly basis, really. To a complete turnaround, you know. Everything that I couldn't do, I can do now. It's taken. It's time to get used to, but I am enjoying getting used to it. And it's funny because I forget now how I used to be. So I've got to step back when I see others going through stuff and think, all right, well, yeah, they're at this level. This is how I was at this level. So right, okay, they've got this far to go. Yeah. So yeah, it's happening though. This is what is so beautiful to see. Is that little seed of hope sprouting, and it then growing like the leaves coming off it, like it does, and it has momentum. And the more encouragement, the more hope that you can help someone have, the more that they help themselves. They can see themselves getting better, they can see themselves moving on, they can see themselves understanding, seeing things for what they are, knowing that whatever they've gone through and however they're acting isn't actually wrong. It's actually correct for how their brain's working and the situation that they're going through. It might be on an extreme level sometimes with mental illness, you know, it can go to the extremes. You know, irrational thoughts and feelings, you know, so overwhelming you can't control them. But it's recognising them, seeing what they are, seeing who triggers them, seeing what else triggers them. Good and bad, you know, you've got to know what makes you happy as well as what makes you sad. We'll try and go for the happy stuff as much as possible, because for God's sake, it works. it has changed my life completely just by making myself happy. everything else seems to fall into place. You know, I won't tolerate people putting me down, or you know, anything like that, anything negative. I won't tolerate. If they want to force it upon me, you know, I'll take their opinion, but I'm not going to live with it, and I'm not going to have it in my life either. I choose not to have that sort of behaviour around me, because I know what it does to me mentally. It's mentally destructive. It puts me into a state of self-harm, you know. It could potentially kill me. So I'm stepping back from that sort of stuff, and there's so many other people that are doing the same and having good results, and it really is just so lovely, heartwarming, hope-giving, you know, just to see all these people actually moving forward at last, after so long, from watching them for so long, not moving forward at all. Even myself, you know, I've just turned 48, and I'm only just starting to live a life, and allowing myself to be myself. And that's what you've got to do. Anyway, I've waffled on again for a long time, so I just want to say happy winter solstice. It's starting to get lighter after today. Summer's coming. Get ready for the hot weather. It won't be long till it's here. 2023 is going to be such an amazing year. I mean, for a lot of people around me, definitely. Even people that I don't really know, on here, even on Facebook. You know, you have on your friends list or have followers, like, you know, some of them, they're sharing their stories with me and they're moving forward. And it's so beautiful to see, it really is. So I know that 2023 is going to be a good year for these people. And for a lot of us, just actually having the balls to go and get what we want, which is happiness, isn't it? You know, love, you know, get it for yourself, find your own love and your own happiness for yourself, because you won't find it in somebody else. You'll just get their version of it, and it's not always good. Don't give somebody that power, because it's a lot of power to give someone, because they can take it away from you at any time, and a lot of them tend to. But yeah, when you put that love for yourself and that compassion for yourself, you make the right choices, you let the right people into your life, and everything else just falls into place. So, I mean, at the start of this I thought, what else have I got to lose? You know, I've tried everything else and nothing's worked. I've gone through psychologists, I've gone through medications, I've gone through self-harm, I've gone through so many different ways of trying to cope. So just letting myself be happy and doing what I enjoy, and it's done the trick. Getting rid of those toxic people. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to stop waffling on because it's time for me to go to bed, I think. I don't know what time it is now, actually. Oh yeah, it's just gone 12. So I would like to say thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you very much. And hello to all my old subscribers, and keep coming back, please. Thank you for liking and sharing. And if I didn't make a video before, I wish you a very Merry Christmas. Well, as merry as you can make it, you know. Go out and give yourself what you wanted as a kid, you know. Go out and give yourself everything. If you know you're going to be on your own, or you know, not going to have a good Christmas, treat yourself. Treat yourself to the Christmas that you wanted. You know, it's like my mate Heather. She's not having a Christmas at all. This is the first Christmas that she's not done Christmas. She's not prepared a Christmas dinner, and she prepares a Christmas dinner. You know, she feeds the 5,000, and it's only for a few people. But she's not doing anything this year. Absolutely nothing, and she's gonna love it. It's gonna feel weird for her, but she's gonna love it. Just have a lazy day. She'd never had one Christmas. So yeah, do whatever makes you feel happy Christmas Day. You know, if you don't want to spend it with people that you don't like. Don't spend it with people you don't like. Spend it at home, having fun, dancing around your house, singing Christmas songs or whatever, buying yourself God knows what off Amazon, or scoffing your face with chocolates and cake and everything that you wanted for Christmas that you couldn't have, you weren't allowed. Enjoy it that way. Instead of coming back with trauma, come back with a bit of happiness for yourself. Anyway, I wish you all a beautiful, beautiful Christmas. Sending you my love and light. You definitely hear me, and 2023 is going to be a good year. It's going to be mind blowing for a lot of people, especially myself and some of the people that are around me. But I shall be able to explain a bit more in a bit more detail further along the line. I was explaining about this in a few videos ages ago. Well, I have been all over this year actually. Well, since I started the YouTube channel anyway. That something's coming in, and it's coming in. But like I say, when I can open up a bit more about it, I shall. But it's quite mind blowing. So yes, watch this space. But thank you everybody. Love you lots. And bye bye.